All right, back over to our other featured table where we find the Brazilian Garani with top pair and a better kicker than Matteo's, who is
This guy's my boy.
firing in position out of the big blind.
Legend. You think so too?
Matteo's does have the benefit of a gut shot straight draw in this pot.
How goes it, Seth?
Good, man. How are you?
Never better.
Good to hear.
This pot was limped pre-flop. Now both players hitting trip sixes, Randy, and it's a bit of a problem for Matteo's, who's just 16% to win it outright. 5 or a 7 required.
84, including 34 again. You got Sam Gruffin up on there.
Garani keeping it clean. Just checks. Might he have ideas though?
It's a big 60,000 bet. His kicker is actually pretty strong here with the queen. So if he's up against an R6, he usually will be scooping the spot. There's a straight out there, you know, the deuce 5, 5-7.
All considerations for Pedro Garani.
See if he wants to raise or call. If you go for the tank call, kind of look like you got a 3 or 4. Maybe your opponent will try to blast you off of it on the river.
Dealers in event number 5, the 75k, and competition the hand you're on. Have a new blind level, 10,000, 15,000, big blind anti 15,000.
Reaching?
We are.
160.
So Pedro Garani is going to check raise this 60k bet from Matteo's, and the Spaniard considers his options as Garani has 335k left behind.
It is a little worrisome. We are playing very wide ranges because it's blind versus blind, so it's easy to be outkicked. However, folding the 7 helps that you got that little straight draw for backup. Do you want to play it slow, or do you want to just commit the chips now? It's like, just call, see what happens.
And I think the just call is also potentially centered around the idea that Garani could be setting up a river bluff, and this would clear the way
Country Netherlands.
for him to
Whereabouts in
pile it in there.
I
The
live in
9 of
Rotterdam.
hearts doesn't change anything whatsoever.
Amsterdam?
It's like 40, 45
Nice
minutes.
play.
45 minutes car, yeah.
I
They
would
also have
like
like
to
a
see
really
a
quick
jam
train
here with the
for-
queen 6.
in
I think your
Amsterdam or
kicker is
Rotterdam?
so strong.
Both, but I don't remember
I would
how
not
far it was
expect a
because I
6
was
to
doing a
fold
lot of
to
drinking
me.
at the time.
Yeah.
Go
That's
for
one
the
of
Those
maximum.
bus tours, but
Yeah.
I like the country. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
People are very
Probably
friendly and
expecting
open-minded as well.
Matteo's to not bet call
Apparently you're the
with the
tallest
3 or
people in the
4
world.
too often on the
Yeah,
turn.
tallest.
Wow,
Yeah.
he's actually checking.
Apparently 6'1"
He's
now.
checking to induce from a missed draw.
I'm like average height.
Like
This
in my
is
country.
5x
nasty.
diamonds.
Some other countries.
This is nasty
pretty
because
tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
you certainly could see Matteo's ask
I
for
think
all
I'm
of it
just
here.
average height,
You have some
Wow, if
cities,
Matteo's
like,
can...
some universities.
You know
that also
what?
Have, like,
If
rowers,
he thinks...
He's
He's
never
like,
checking
yeah.
back. Let's
So if
just
you
get
come
that
to
out there
city-
right now.
I don't want to say he's never,
you don't believe what
because
you
you need
see.
to think
Like,
about
you see
what
all
hands
people-
will
I
check
thought I
raise
was short, but
you
I'm short. Yeah,
and
yeah.
call
Yeah,
a
yeah.
jam
When you
all,
go to
like a
this-
big
the
bet all of a
calls
sudden.
and
Would be a
they
9x of
specialize in
diamonds.
basketball.
You would not
Yeah,
expect
yeah,
a 3 or
Like,
4
I'll
to
say
check
it
raise
like
him,
this.
so
One
he
time
doesn't need
the
to
room
try to
next
get
to
those
ours
hands to
was filled
call.
with
Okay.
all these basketball players.
His
crazy,
kicker
They just leave an esky of power raids right
is
outside
weak,
the
so he
door.
could either...
Yeah.
He
The
might put
average
his opponent on
height
a
is so tall,
missed
I was
high
like-
card hand. They
I'm
can't
like,
call a
my
jam
dwarf.
anyways.
Yeah.
There's no pocket
Tall
fives
boys.
in Garani's range?
Also,
To check raise the turn?
They wear those like
No.
white
I
ones,
would
right?
say
Pointless.
I think I could fit
that would
in,
be a really
2 or 3
silly play.
times
Well,
in
he's
those
going to reach
pants.
for chips.
Crazy.
How much is he going
Sure,
for?
man.
Yeah.
I told you
Doesn't look like all of it.
I don't
But
know
most-
those.
1.85?
Yeah, something. Maybe 1
200,000
Quick call.
184.
Yeah. Tall.
and a snap from Garani, as that was the bulk of
I can
his
get you
remaining
to
stack. And
1.85, I reckon.
Yeah.
a
If
little
you-
bit deflating
I don't
from
know what- I
Matteo's
don't want to know
there.
how
You
you-
get
how
flattered,
you
you
would-
think maybe this 6-7's good.
You know, when stacks get really short, you're incentivized not to risk too much, and you know, for the times you get 3-bet. So, you know, a lot of modern poker solutions, and that's why you see it, you know, when there's a lot of 20, 25 big blind stacks, even if you don't have that many blinds yourself, if a number of other players on the table do, you'll see just a lot of min raising, because that seems to be what GTO solutions like for those very short stack depths.
Nemeth with another ace, and he's got the hearts covered, but unfortunately doesn't have the benefit of position. We'll check this 9-8 trade 2-spade flop over to Ivey.
Yeah, Ivey going to decide whether or not he wants to c-bet, and if so, how much.
Knuckles back rather quickly.
I think it's okay to take either line there. Ooh. And now that's an action card.
Yeah, it is. That 4 of hearts now presents a flush draw to both players. Advantage Nemeth in a real way with both the ace high and the nut flush draw.
Yeah, but Nemeth has some showdown. This is a hand that he could, you know, he could bet, but I think, yes, check call is very reasonable here. I don't expect he'll check raise if Ivey bets. And Ivey might bet here because he might want to get some ace highs to fold. Okay, he checks back. Oh, wow.
Oh, and hits the jack on the end. But the spades show up, and obviously that card is damp insofar as some straights are completed.
It's a pretty bad card for Nemeth. A number of hands that maybe he was beating that didn't bet, such as Queen Jack, King Jack, etc., improved. I don't think he decides not to bluff with ace high here, which is perfectly reasonable, and I like it. And I'm pretty sure Ivey's going to find a value bet.
And the thought on Nemeth's mind might be, if Ivey had some kind of bigger ace with showdown value, why wouldn't he simply check it back?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think Nemeth is probably ruling out a hand like ace-king on that river card. So I would say...
Call was made, by the way, and Ivey picks up a healthy little pot there. Go on, Brian.
Yeah, no, it's not an unreasonable call. It feels slightly thin, a little on the thin side, but you know, sometimes you just feel your opponent's bluffing, and there's definitely some hands, you know, some of the ones I mentioned that could be in there.
Vivigar or Bruno's nickname? I forgot. Sounds like Bruno. Probably.
Raise and take it for Petrangelo as he's looking to rally. Meanwhile, back at our other feature table, Talal Shakurchi has shown up here under the gun with an ace-jack. As Martrosian in a way. Artur 3-betting him to 50K. At 8-9 suited. Might have otherwise liked to play on the button for Grafton, but into the muck it goes.
324 total.
Now Talal asks for a count. Does have Martrosian well covered. Makes the call.
Yeah, Talal is, I think he's like one of the best businessmen I've seen play. He's just relentless.
And plays nosebleed cash games against the best around in Vegas when he comes down to town.
And he's like tournament crusher.
Yeah.
Like crusher, like really good. Lots of championship. I'm not sure if this is his first Triton or not, though. Did he play the Million?
The Triton Million, of course, in London in 2019. That was his first event. He managed to cash in the 50K 8 max and the 25K short deck at that stop.
Oh, he played some short deck. Yeah, just give it a try. Well, on to this hand real fast. So we got a 3-bet from Martrosian. Flops top pair.
Talal made the call. Both of them hit the ace on the ace-4 deuce board. Martrosian c-bet for 35,000 gets called. And look at this card. It gives Martrosian the lead now with aces and tens, but it gives Shakurchi a jack-high flush draw, and doubtful that Talal's hand is going to find the muck here, as this one already has 195K in the middle.
Yeah, Martrosian, I think when he gets check called on the flop, going to think he's up against an ace a lot. Can safely bet a pretty sizable amount. He is playing 24 big blinds, so he'll consider that to see what kind of riverside he'll get. You know, it's small enough where, like, say, a pocket jacks would continue. with a heart. Ace-Jack snap calls.
65 into 195. Shakurchi proceeds with caution, making the call and making the flush on the river as he gets back into the lead. Of course, King of Hearts or Queen of Hearts are better.
What a roller coaster here. Shakurchi trying to think, should he ever lead here with the Jack of Hearts?
Isn't it just asking to get blown off your hand, though? How much value are we able to get if we lead with the Jack of Hearts?
I think very little. I prefer checking to try to induce a bet. It looks like he wants to just lead out.
What did he come with, 100?
I'm trying to think. Well, when you check call 3-bet, check call turn and lead, like what bluffs do you have here? I don't think Martrosian's going to think that Talal has got like blackjacks to check call flop and check call turn. So it does look very value betty here. Maybe like an ace-jack black? Would it maybe turn a 10 into a bluff? I don't know.
I feel like any ace-x that doesn't have a heart in it would likely just check.
And just pray.
And pray, maybe bluff, catch, decide based on sizing.
Yeah.
And obviously it's top 2 for Martrosian, so so much hand. The question just really becomes, am I up against a heart or not? What makes sense?
It's really hard to craft some bluffs for Talal. But then again, you're like, man, his price, it's not so bad. Do have top 2. I think Martrosian will have trouble finding the bluffs, but we are playing on a shot clock, and it does come into play. Sometimes you feel a bit committed. You feel like I got there in the turn, and I feel a little unlucky. You might be a little bit more married to the hand. Let's see, Artur makes the call. Wow, great lead there of ace-jack.
Yeah, you have to imagine that Shakurchi's just made another 100K in this pot that he wouldn't have on the end. The check back certainly seems likely for Martrosian, given that Shakurchi called that turn, don't you think?
They're ahead. They're 3 hands faster. How much is that? 8 limps.
Kale inquiring about the payouts after Garani collected 145,000. There is still a 145K payout at 10th. Boitas and Soiza in 13th and 12th collected 135,000. The jump, though, between 10th and 9th is 40K.
Yeah, gonna take this free flop with the ace-6.
And flop himself top pair, but it is kings and a flush draw for Zivalevsky. I mean, it almost feels scripted.
60? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Burns is not expected to have the ace too often as well.
No, after checking back in the big blind.
With a massive stack, yeah, like he's just thinking, okay, maybe I look a little weak here and let you just try to barrel into me. Normally, you wouldn't see Burns raise in this spot. It just wouldn't make any sense. Any kind of hand stronger than one pair would have raised pre-flop. Club.
Now, suddenly, Yuri Zivalevsky hits the flush after it goes back call. Kel Burns drawing dead. Is there a path to an exit?
Probably not. But for Yuri, he needs to be thinking about what hands he can get value from. Him holding a king makes it less likely Burns got the king. A 10 makes a lot of sense for Burns. Some ace rags. Most likely the hands can get some value. But 200K?
You got 1.2 behind? A little bit more.
Nines here of top pair. He's got the 6 of clubs. That doesn't help. Might think it's less likely your opponent's got a flush in very wide ranges, which is a very important card to have. So
So the 200K does get called as another 400,000 slide into the middle, courtesy of that 2/3 pot sizing from Yuri. Ace is up on the river, and now the path to an exit feels very obscured.
Pretty much impossible.
Don't say that.
I know, right?
We've seen it.
We have seen it. But he's going to lose a lot of chips here. I guess the question is how much to bet for Yuri. A lot of people just barrel off on the sport texture if they were bluffing too. It just seems like Burns often has like a 10 of a club, maybe a king of a club.
450?
Going 450,000.
It's a good bet from Brazil. Do I believe Brazil? Question I must ask. 450? Is that my timer? Thing is, my hand's so good, I don't give a fuck if I believe Brazil. Is Brazil nervous? Knowing that I don't give a fuck. You could be betting worse for value.
He could. Be
How
like
much
King 10.
I
Ace
feel
deuce.
nervous. Call. And I got 2 pair with the club, can you believe? Really? You was nervous you were going to fold. 450?
So Burns flicked 1 chip over there.
Wow, I'm supposed to go
First
broke.
installment.
Every hand I'm supposed to go broke. Never win.
Will Vogel saying punish the limpers with his huge stack? Nah. He's gonna let everybody live.
Yeah, and he's in pretty bad shape actually. As you can see, his 6 is dominated. And as I say that, he flops an open-ended straight draw. Everybody's got a little something here though. Vogel saying open-ended with backdoor hearts. Leon with top pair. He's not going anywhere. Silver with a pair of 8s. Backdoor diamonds.
Mother 100 behind.
That's a nice discipline lay down by
sure
Silver.
Is.
He calls if he's last to act and he closes the action.
I mean, maybe he accurately deduces that with an unraised pot, folks are very likely to be all over this board.
Yeah, and I think he also realized that, you know, if I call this, I kind of have to go with it. Leon only has 100,000 chips left, and maybe I have the best hand right now, but if I'm behind, I'm way behind. And if I'm ahead, I'm probably only slightly ahead. Vogel saying just calls, looking for a 10 or a 5. Oh, it's almost unfair.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Leon with top 2. Vogel saying with the straight. Leon is not going to be happy with his German friend on his right.
No, he sure isn't. Hey, Vogelsang did most of the damage before. Here he is to finish the job unless there's a 10 or a 9 on the river. Leon is almost all in. He's left himself 4 chips behind.
Yeah, and you noticed earlier on that when Leon had a big draw, he just moved all in, didn't really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
His smaller bets is certainly indicative of a made hand. And I think if Vogelsang picks that up, he'll just
This is difficult
get it
right
in.
now to watch, though. This is a little bit of a slow roll, I think. Sure, he has a decision whether he wants to call or put Leon all in, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think if Leon had moved all in, I think Christoph obviously would have just called right away. Christoph is always going to do this. It's not a personal thing. If you take it personal, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And he just calls here. The only problem with just calling is here, you give your opponent a slight chance to get away from it. Should a jack come off, a diamond come off, a 7 come off, or even here a queen. I mean, maybe Leon gets scared into thinking that his opponent's got a jack.
He don't look scared. Action is on Vogel saying. Can you really fold at this point?
No, I mean, if you mean Leon?
Yeah, with 4 big blinds.
It's very difficult to, obviously. But if Christoph were to check this, there's a chance Leon might check
Just
it back.
checks behind, yeah.
I mean.
But he's not going to give him the opportunity.
No.
And there it goes. Okay. Just 50K left. Yeah. How the hell do you get it straight there? I agree.
Good luck. Good game.
That's it for Leon.
He'll be back, though, guys.